Where is Chainlink's price heading in 2024? That is what we are going to be discussing in this video. We are going to be giving you our price prediction dependent on this pattern playing out. We ultimately have ran into resistance for Chainlink, and we need to take that resistance with momentum. If we do that, ladies and gentlemen, I do envision all-time highs coming for Chainlink. And if you are a regular viewer of this channel, you will know we are a massive fan of Chainlink. It was a project that did exceptionally well for us last year, and we expect what is now an uptrend for Chainlink to continue in the year of 2024. Now, because this is a price prediction, it is very important for me to say that nothing I say or do on this channel is financial advice. If you guys choose to invest in Chainlink, you do that at your own peril. However, I am a massive fan of Chainlink. I personally own it, to be quite transparent. And actually, given how well it did last year, it became one of my top altcoin holdings. And of course, you'll know that last year we were looking at the kind of ranging bottom, the stage 1 base that Chainlink was putting in, that it broke out of. We will be looking at that again. And we're actually going to start the video off talking about another altcoin, because with markets, the structure that markets go up and down in often repeat, and it kind of looks like a concession of what you used to draw on a whiteboard as a kid. You know, that rude kind of almost head and shoulder-esque pattern. This is how markets move both up and down, and we're going to be showing you that right now Chainlink is setting up an inverse head and shoulders pattern that could see it going to new all-time highs. And again, we're going to be starting off with another altcoin, Injective, that we did very well on, and showing you that there's very similar structure in regards to Injective that is now at all-time highs and is playing out a kind of inverse head and shoulders to what's taking place with Chainlink. This particular pattern is something that we had huge success with last year. For those of you that follow my daily market updates, you'll know that we were long the stock market and we were long certain cryptos like Bitcoin, where we were predicting a 42K target for based on this pattern specifically. So we will be showing you all that. Let's start things off with Injective protocol. Now, it may seem a little bit strange to you guys that this is a Chainlink price prediction and we're looking at Injective. And the reason that we're doing this is to show you that Chainlink is following a similar path to Injective. You know, Injective is just further ahead. And you often see these kind of structures in markets. If you guys do become a Patreon, you will gain access to a course that I have out there on stage analysis. I think stage analysis is probably the best and most simplistic and provable way to look at a market. For you guys who are investors, you might not be savvy with technical analysis, learn stage analysis. It was fathered by Stan Weinstein. It really does help you identify the 4 stages of a market, where we're at and where we're going and what to do in each individual stage. And I now do believe that Chainlink is in a stage 2 breakout, i.e. an uptrend that is set to continue, and we're looking for a continuation pattern in the form of an inverse head and shoulders. So let's talk about Injective protocol, and this is one that did rather well, and the entire bear market of 2022 2021 was engulfed with what Injective did. You can see this double bottom structure, and then the interesting thing for us to bring our draw up is the head and shoulders pattern that Injective has now triggered on volume, in the same way it took out its stage 1 base on volume, which is very important. When you're breaking up out of resistance, you want to see that volume. It gives a degree of conviction and believability to the move. When you're breaking down, you don't really need to see that volume, but when you're breaking up, you certainly do. So this was Injective's stage 1 base, and we're going to show you Chainlink in just a second. And then, of course, in a very typical fashion, you break out on volume. You can see the volume, although it's rather small down there. Let's actually broaden this up so you can see the volume that Injective had on the break. Typically with a break, you come back, you get a retest, you find your support, and then you start a broader uptrend. And the interesting thing with Injective is this pattern here that we're essentially looking at Chainlink. So Chainlink is here, ladies and gentlemen. This is where Chainlink is in our assessment, and we're going to give you a target that's projected off of this. You can see you have your left shoulder with your left armpit here, and then you have your right shoulder with your right armpit here. You've got this head in a double bottom-esque pattern. Markets typically bottom in the same way. A double bottom, an inverse head and shoulders. You know, these kind of structures typically play out a falling wedge, perhaps. You know, there are some altcoins that are playing out that sort of a structure, and they've been in this kind of macro falling wedge from when we kind of topped out in 2021. But this is essentially a perfect blueprint for where Chainlink is today. And we have an $83 price prediction or thereabouts for Injective. So we don't think this is over yet. And if you look at the current structure that Injective's forming, you know, it does look like it wants to take this short-term resistance and go on and likely meet our target. We'll show you some examples of other head and shoulders playing out in just a second. Let's now go over to the Chainlink chart, because of course this is a Chainlink price prediction video. And we know that Chainlink was essentially ranging for over 500 days. The bigger the range, the bigger the move. Let's put our draw on for Chainlink. You can see this was your stage one bottoming structure that was broken on volume. Very, very important to see that volume coming in. Again, it gives a degree of conviction behind the move. So this is the point where you broke. And this range bottom, to go back to Injective, this double bottom target took you perfectly to where Injective ran into a little bit of resistance. In the same way that this range, when you add it on top of the range, so you take it from the point of break above, you can see Chainlink ran in and sort of stalled here perfectly again. And then, of course, it ran into what we are calling a neckline. And right now, you are forming your right shoulders, ladies and gentlemen, or your right shoulder. So you can see the similarity, and I'll put these two charts side by side in regards to Injective and what it's done and the structure that it formed in getting there, and Chainlink and where it's currently at today. So I do think this is a qualifying inverse head and shoulders. To show you Injective, people often are better at looking at head and shoulders the kind of right way up, not inverted. But if we invert this chart, you can see the obvious nature of it. Very, very obvious nature of it. You know, into a break on momentum. If we do that for the Chainlink chart, you can see the exact same thing. So you can see, I'll move this chart this way so you can actually see it. You can see that Chainlink is essentially setting up in the exact same manner that Injective did before it started its journey to the downside in the inverted chart, which means upside in the chart the right way up. So this is what we're essentially calling for Chainlink, which is predicting a new all-time high for Chainlink. And I actually think this could occur within 2024. Now, I'm not exactly sure of that. It could take a little bit longer. You know, the pattern itself took a long time to form, so you do kind of have to give it that leeway. However, if the markets play out in the fashion that we believe they are going to, then it's very likely Chainlink's going to do very well in a short succession of time. You know, fundamentally, we have covered Chainlink to death. We think it is essentially a standard in the cryptocurrency space. That's what it's going to become, you know, in regards to interoperability and interconnectivity. You know, I was a very early investor in Chainlink back in 2018, 2019. I've done very well off of it, and I still hold a large amount of it today, simply because I think it is just going to do sensationally. You know, I think it's, if you're betting on crypto doing well, you're almost kind of betting on Chainlink doing well, because it is such an integral part in the DeFi space. Pretty much every single project uses Chainlink's data oracles. And now it's going to be an integral part in the collision of the TradFi world and the kind of crypto world. So this is what we're looking at in a short and simple term. You know, we really want to get all our price predictions out at the start of the year, and we want to see if these get followed. So when we have confirmation that something is going in the direction we want it to, it's feedback from the markets, you know, in the same way that we looked at Bitcoin when it was down here and this was its stage one base. Again, markets typically bottom in a very similar fashion. We got an early inkling, you know, we were getting into Bitcoin here. All the charts and all the kind of proof is there for you guys to see if you're new to the channel. And ultimately, you know, this broke out, perfect retest. And then it went on and actually met the lower down head and shoulders. We can show you a number of examples of head and shoulders that were perfectly met. I was looking at the NASDAQ composite today, which is not this one. It's this one, which was, again, head and shoulders pattern that we had that projected this target here. Look at where you perfectly sold off. We can show you Microsoft, which was one of our picks from last year. We can show you many, many examples. We think actually Amazon is potentially setting up a head and shoulders that's going to see it go to new all-time highs, which kind of confirms the direction of the overall markets. If we see bullish reasons to be bullish in the stock market, there's kind of reasons to be bullish in the crypto market. Certainly when you look at Bitcoin against some of these assets like the SPY, which we got very right, and of course the NASDAQ. So Chainlink, in my opinion, is destined for new all-time highs. The key to this is it playing out. So you have to take this very important resistance level at $17.86 with momentum, preferably. And then, in my opinion, you are on your way to new all-time highs. And the price prediction that we are given for Chainlink, potentially in the year of 2024, is $63. It's only a 3-something X. You are going to have altcoins that outperform. But Chainlink, for me, is a shy horse. It's a workhorse behind you to kind of mitigate volatility that's intrinsic to the cryptocurrency market as you move forward. So Chainlink, for me, is a big one. And I think it's going to do very, very well. I think it's, a very much an integral part of the cryptocurrency space. And it's going to do very well as a result of that. We're also expecting altcoins to do rather well, with the likes of BTC dominance set to roll. This is a clear break in market structure after an aggressive uptrend. Not only did it break, it went up for another retest before then getting very harshly slapped down. It's interesting that you've got the Coinbase hearing against the SEC tomorrow, where they've listed a load of altcoins. You're going to get more clarity on the altcoin space, clarity on Coinbase itself, which is a stock actually, again, that we kind of track this inverse head and shoulders pattern for and we're very bullish on. You can see the target for this head and shoulders down here was up here. Look at where you met. And we're now in a broader head and shoulders. So markets rhyme, they repeat. In our opinion, Chainlink is just following Injective, that we're now going to put the right way up. Ultimately, we have higher targets for Injective, and we think Chainlink is very much following this market structure and likely to do a similar thing. We think we've got the broader macro context of the markets correct. We certainly did last year. We think there's going to be continuation of that. And yeah, I think Chainlink is going to do absolutely superbly. So really short and sweet one. We didn't want to break it down and go that specific into everything and show you the exact correlations, but I think you get the idea of what we're looking at. If you want to learn about stage analysis and all this kind of stuff, do consider becoming a Patreon. I hope you all have a great 2024. Save this video and come back to it and reference it and tell me I'm wrong if we're wrong. But our prediction for Chainlink is $64, perhaps in 2024. Makes sense into 2025. Actually, I happen to think it will get hit in 2024. And that's really what I've got for you guys. If you have enjoyed this content, as always, a like is appreciated. So is a comment. Don't forget to check out that subscribe button. And on that note, I'll see you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one.